You've spent weeks planting. You bought the premium soil. You meticulously planted your seedlings, and you've been out in the hot sun treating your tomato plants like they are your absolute favorite children. But suddenly, the leaves are curling. The bottoms of your tomatoes are turning into black, sunken craters. Your plants are a giant green jungle, but there is exactly zero fruit. Well, I'll tell you exactly what went wrong. You followed the advice of the internet, or maybe your neighbor, or maybe even your grandfather. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are exposing the most popular, widely shared tomato gardening advice that is secretly sabotaging your harvest. This isn't just theory, this is backed by agricultural science. We are going to look at the hacks that are actually suffocating your roots, starving your fruit, and burning your foliage. More importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix these mistakes right now so you can get back to growing the biggest, juiciest tomatoes on the block. If you want a massive harvest this year, put down the watering can, step away from the fertilizer, and pay close attention. Let's dive in. Let's start with the undisputed king of bad internet gardening advice, dumping Epsom salts into your planting hole to prevent blossom end rot. You've seen the videos. Someone takes a handful of Epsom salt, tosses it in the dirt, and promises perfect tomatoes. Here is the cold, hard botanical truth. Blossom end rot is most commonly triggered by inconsistent water movement and calcium transport problems inside the plant, not simply a lack of calcium in the soil. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. Adding magnesium to a plant that desperately needs calcium is like chugging a gallon of espresso when your body actually needs 8 hours of sleep. It doesn't fix the problem, it masks it and creates a new one. In your soil, calcium and magnesium compete for similar uptake pathways into the plant's roots. If you flood the soil with excessive Epsom salts, the roots may absorb more magnesium at the expense of calcium. Excess magnesium can worsen calcium uptake issues in some soils, especially if magnesium levels are already high. Think of your soil like a busy 4-lane highway during morning rush hour. The cars are the nutrients. If you flood that highway with thousands of magnesium trucks, the calcium cars are stuck on the on-ramp. They never make it to their destination. The action plan to fix it. Test your soil. Stop guessing. Grab a cheap soil test kit from your local hardware store. Only add magnesium if the test explicitly says your soil is deficient. Focus on consistent moisture. Blossom end rot is most commonly linked to inconsistent watering and disrupted calcium movement inside the plant, not simply a lack of calcium in the soil. Tomatoes move calcium through water flow. If the soil repeatedly dries out, calcium transport to the fruit becomes unstable. Use calcium amendments carefully. If a soil test confirms low calcium levels, use an appropriate calcium amendment designed for garden soils and maintain consistent soil moisture throughout the growing season. If your tomatoes already have black bottoms, pluck them off immediately. The plant cannot heal them, and leaving them on just drains energy from developing healthy fruit. Make sure you water them every day. If I had a nickel for every time I heard this advice, I could buy a farm in California. Watering your tomatoes a little bit every single day is one of the fastest ways to guarantee weak, struggling plants. When you lightly water the surface of your garden daily, you are training the roots of the tomato plant to stay lazy and shallow. The roots learn that they don't need to dive deep into the earth because their daily sip of water is waiting right at the top. Why is this a disaster? Because the top 2 inches of soil dry out instantly on a 95-degree July afternoon. When that top layer bakes in the sun, your shallow-rooted tomato plant instantly goes into severe drought stress. The leaves wilt, the blossoms drop off, and fruit production completely stops. It's the equivalent of helicopter parenting a teenager. If you do their laundry, cook every meal, and tie their shoes until they're 18, they're going to completely panic the second they move out into the real world. You have to let your plants build resilience. The action plan to fix it. Water deeply and infrequently. In many in-ground gardens, deep watering a few times per week is more effective than shallow daily watering, though frequency still depends on climate, soil type, mulch, and whether the plants are growing in containers or raised beds. When you do water, soak the absolute life out of that soil. We are talking a long, slow, deep soak that penetrates 6 to 8 inches down. Force root growth. Deep watering forces the tomato roots to chase the moisture deep underground. Deep roots protect the plant from heat waves because the soil temperature down there is dramatically cooler and stays consistently moist. Mulch like crazy. Put down a 3-inch layer of straw, untreated wood chips, or shredded leaves right over the root zone. Mulch is the ultimate insulator. It locks in the moisture and stops the sun from evaporating your hard work. Number 3. The eggshell myth. This one breaks my heart because the intentions are so pure. The advice goes, crush up eggshells and put them in the planting hole to give your tomatoes calcium. Here's the frustrating reality. Eggshells are roughly 95% calcium carbonate. That sounds great, right? Wrong. Calcium carbonate in the form of an eggshell is almost entirely locked up and unavailable to your plants. Eggshells take months and sometimes years to break down in the soil to a microscopic level where a root system can actually absorb them. Putting crushed eggshells under a tomato seedling in May and expecting it to feed the plant by July is impossible. The soil microbes simply cannot work that fast. Imagine you're starving and someone hands you a locked steel safe with a sandwich inside, but tells you the combination will be mailed to you in 6 months. The food is technically there, but you're going to starve to death before you can eat it. That's what you're doing to your tomatoes. The action plan to fix it. Compost early. If you want to use eggshells, they need to go into your compost bin a full year in advance. Let the worms and bacteria do the hard work of breaking them down into bioavailable calcium. Grind to a powder if you insist on using them directly. You must bake the shells until they're brittle and then put them in a heavy-duty blender until they're absolute dust. The smaller the particle, the faster it breaks down. Use proper amendments. For this growing season, rely on bone meal, gypsum, or agricultural lime depending on your soil pH and test results. These are processed specifically to be available to your plants right now when they actually need them.
Number 4. The nitrogen overdose. Have you ever grown a tomato plant that looked like it belonged in the Amazon rainforest? Huge, dark green leaves, massive stems, towering over everything else in your garden, but you can't find a single tomato on it? Congratulations, you have fallen victim to the nitrogen overdose. The advice usually sounds like this. Plant them in pure compost or give them a heavy dose of fresh manure. Nitrogen is a vital nutrient. It's the N in the NPK ratio on your fertilizer bag. Nitrogen pushes leafy green growth, but tomatoes are fruiting plants. If you pump a tomato plant full of high nitrogen fertilizer or pure, unaged manure, the plant receives a biological signal to prioritize leaves over reproduction. It will completely forget about making flowers and fruit and instead focus on becoming the biggest, greenest bush possible. Think of the guy at the gym who only ever does bicep curls and bench presses, but hasn't done a leg day in 10 years. Sure, the top half looks massive, but the foundation is completely wrong and the overall function is compromised. Your tomato plant needs balance. The action plan to fix it. Switch the ratios. Once your tomato plant starts putting out its first yellow flowers, you need to cut back on the nitrogen. Switch to a fertilizer that is higher in phosphorus, the middle number, and potassium, the last number. Feed the fruit. Phosphorus promotes vigorous root development and heavy blooming.
Potassium regulates water and moves sugars into the fruit, making your tomatoes sweeter and larger. Look for a fertilizer labeled specifically for tomatoes, like a 3-4-6 or a 5-10-5 ratio. Never use unaged manure. Fresh manure is incredibly hot with nitrogen and will chemically burn the roots of your young plants. Only use manure that has been aged and composted for at least 6 months. Number 5. The obsessive pruning habit. Pruning is where otherwise rational gardeners lose their minds. The internet has convinced people that every single sucker needs to be ruthlessly snipped off, and the bottom half of the plant should be stripped bare. Here is the truth. Leaves are the solar panels of the plant. They catch the sunlight, perform photosynthesis, and manufacture the sugars that make your tomatoes taste incredible. When you aggressively prune off too many leaves, you are literally cutting the power supply to your fruit. Even worse, over-pruning leaves your developing tomatoes completely exposed to the blazing afternoon sun. Tomatoes are highly susceptible to sun scald, which essentially acts like a severe human sunburn on the skin of the fruit, causing it to turn white, blister, and rot. The everyday American reality. Aggressive pruning is like ripping the insulation out of your attic and removing the roof shingles just to make your house look cleaner. You're destroying the plant's built-in defense mechanisms and energy production centers. The action plan to fix it? Know your variety. First, determine if you have a determinate or indeterminate tomato. Determinate varieties grow to a fixed size and produce all their fruit at once. Determinate tomatoes generally require minimal pruning because excessive pruning can reduce your overall harvest. Prune for airflow, not aesthetics. For indeterminate varieties, one of the main goals of pruning is improving airflow and reducing disease pressure. Prune the bottom 8 to 12 inches of leaves so they don't touch the soil. This stops soil-borne blights from splashing up on the leaves when it rains. Leave the canopy. Leave enough foliage higher up on the plant to act as a shade canopy for the developing fruit. If you see a cluster of tomatoes exposed to direct, harsh afternoon sun, leave the leaves directly above them intact. Gardening doesn't have to be a frustrating mystery, and you definitely shouldn't be fighting your own plants. By ditching the Epsom salt myths, watering deeply, understanding how calcium actually works, balancing your nutrients, and pruning more strategically, you are going to see a massive transformation in your garden this year. Stop following the fads and start trusting the biology. Now, if you fixed these mistakes, but you are still noticing tiny yellow spots on your lower leaves or little black bugs crawling on your stems, you might be dealing with the next biggest tomato killer, early blight and aphids. But don't panic. Click the video right here on the screen where I break down the exact organic step-by-step process to eradicate both of those problems in under 48 hours without using harsh chemicals. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on next week's deep dive. Keep your hands in the dirt, and I will see you in the next video.